We also recently had an experience where I was having a difficult conversation with someone in the business. This happens a lot. That's part of leadership. That's part of having a team. So the topic of today's episode is sort of, how do you handle negative feedback? How do you handle if somebody quits your team, if you have to fire someone? But most importantly, how do you handle negative feedback that might come in from a client? But I'm talking about more of an interactive, there is a personal relationship happening. It's not just a keyboard warrior out there. Also, we're talking about this because in our signature program, Empower, we send out surveys along the way. And we always ask our clients to be very truthful, be kind, but be clear. So I want to break down for you a couple different things. So number one, we humans like to make meaning out of everything, right? And so if we don't like something, if we don't understand something, if we want something to change, we start to create stories in our head. We create meaning in our head. First and foremost, don't make it mean anything about you, okay? And with that, there's something that you're going to do. And this is where I'm going to grab my little marker board here, my little whiteboard. So the first thing that you want to do here is what's called triangulate the issue. So let's go with a team member right now instead of a client sort of complaining or an unhappy client. So with a team member, what you want to do is you want to triangulate the issue. So you're going to make a triangle here. And on one side of the triangle, let's go left side, it's you. So here's Jess. And on the other side of the triangle, it's your team member. So we're going to call your team member X. So this is the distance between myself and X, my team member. Now let's say the project that was supposed to get done that didn't get done was that an email supposed to get sent out at a particular time on a particular day to a particular group of people segmented in our email list. And for whatever reason, it didn't go out. So the issue here is about an email not going out. With that, I could come directly at my team member and he or she could come back to me and we can sort of have an argument over why this didn't get done. And we can start blaming each other and making assumptions that you didn't make it a priority, you didn't give me an appropriate deadline, or I didn't even know what the deadline was, or I didn't think that this was an important task. Like, why was I even supposed to do this? Whatever this could be, if we start doing the back and forth game of making assumptions, then ultimately we start to sort of attack one another's character. And so instead, what you want to do is you want to triangulate the problem. So this is the distance between us. It's like, this thing didn't happen and I'm blaming you and I'm blaming you. What we want to do though is we want to build those vertical walls up on the top of the triangle, and up at the top, we want to actually take the issue that we have and we want to stick the issue at the top. So literally imagine, if you're not on YouTube, that the issue is floating above our heads in the center between us, just like a triangle would be. So now the issue itself is that the email didn't go out. That's the issue. So I can say to this person on my team, hey, X, right? I noticed that this email didn't go out. I was wondering if there's a reason it didn't go out, why? And if there was something that I could have done better to make sure that it went out on time, or if I didn't make myself clear. I just want to have an open conversation about it. And you can even say, I'm not attacking you as a person. I'm not mad at you. I'm not even disappointed. I just want to get to the root of the problem, because ultimately our job here is to solve the problem. Now what you want to do when you open that conversation up is on the sides of the triangle, we've got the left side and the right side. On one side of the triangle, we're going to list out all of the facts. So what are the facts that actually happened? And on the right side of the triangle, the fiction. So what are the stories that we are both telling ourselves about why it didn't happen? And so now that we've removed the issue from it either being mine or him or hers, it's not about us. It's up here, it's floating in the ether. It just happened. That is true, right? Let's list out the facts. So in this example, the fact is the email didn't go out. The fact is that the deadline was missed. I wasn't notified. The other person, X, misunderstood. Maybe the fact for that person is that they didn't see it as a priority. Whatever it would be, we're going to ask each other sort of, what are the facts on my side? What are the facts on your side? And then the fiction are the stories that we're telling ourselves. And we want to be open and honest with each other when we're communicating here. And this could be a little bit uncomfortable, but that's a good thing because it's helping you grow. So now I'm going to give all of my fictions, and then person X is going to give their fictions as well. So I would say things like, well, the email not going out, I got to be honest, it made me feel like I wasn't respected as a leader. I also felt that you didn't care. I felt that you weren't listening on our meeting. I felt that, and these are stories that I'm telling myself. I don't know if this person was actually listening or not, but I've created a story that because the email didn't go out, that person must not have been listening. Now, person X is going to give all of their reasons as well. So person X is going to say things like, well, I was really overwhelmed. I had too much on my plate and I was scared to come talk to you about it. Person X might say the email didn't go out because I actually had a family emergency. So what we're doing here is we're removing ourselves from the issue. We're making the issue fly high above us. It's its own thing. We've triangulated it. We've mapped out all of the facts that are true about what happened and all of the fictions that are not true, but they're stories that we've created and told ourselves. Once we have this all laid out, and we can come to ultimately a fix of, okay, now that we know the facts, now that we know the fiction, nothing has changed. The email still didn't go out. So what are we going to do now to make it go out? What are we going to do in the future to make sure it doesn't happen again? And how are we going to put a bow on the conversation to make sure that both of us feel seen, heard, understood, respected, and valued? So this idea of triangulating, that was an example that I'm giving you for a team member, but the same thing could go if you're having a difficult conversation with a client, right? And if you aren't having a conversation, but maybe you received an email and they don't want to talk to you, or they didn't respond back to you, or they asked for their money back, or they want to drop out of your program. Again, don't make it mean anything about you. Collect as much of the fact and as much as the fiction as you can from them as well as from yourself. And then here's the hard part for a lot of us. Remove your ego. Where maybe did you go wrong? Where could you make changes in the future? Where might you maybe owe an apology, or maybe just some sort of an explanation? I recently had something come up with clients where I had said something through a text, like writing, and because you can't catch tone in a text and I didn't use an emoji, the client had taken it as like a more of an authoritative stance, where I was writing it as a playful stance. And so then it sort of made them feel less than, which of course was not my intention. And so I immediately rectified it with a personal message, a personal voice message to that person, as well as a live over in the group, sort of explaining, I'm really sorry. That was not my intention. I've learned from this and I should have used an emoji. And also, here's what I'm seeing. There's also a gap here. Here's an opportunity for you, the clients, to also learn and grow. And so I sort of laid it out and I took responsibility on my end. I also opened an opportunity because we are all mirrors for one another. And so what we see in others, we see in ourselves, which is where a lot of times envy comes from, and jealousy, because I see in you what I believe to be true in me. I see in you what I know is possible for me, but maybe I don't have it yet. Maybe I'm not there yet. And so I was a mirror for all of the clients to say, awesome, where in your life, in your business, have you maybe done the same thing? And let me show you how I'm going to approach this with leadership. Let me show you how I'm going to navigate this situation. Take what you want, leave the rest. But also, what are you going to do in your life, in your business? And how would you approach something like this? And if a client is telling you something, or a team member is telling you something, you don't get to tell them that how they feel is incorrect. You can't tell someone how to feel. Can you see, hear, and understand where they're coming from? Can you put yourself in their shoes? And when you do, if you are going to apologize or sort of try to rectify the situation or triangulate the situation and have a conversation with them, listen. We're so quick to apologize and then move on, or apologize and then defend. We forget the most important part is listening. Get into the habit of practicing listening before you respond. Can you be solution oriented? All right, friends, if you love this episode, it was helpful, let me know. Comment, let us know on YouTube. Make sure you're following along, subscribe. We are now dropping multiple podcasts per week. We used to do 2. Now we're doing usually 3. We're really putting out lots of juice, lots of content, lots of good stuff, and so many different free trainings. I hope you are part of our text family. I hope you're following us on social media. Come say hi in the DMs. I am Jessica DeRose. And as always, cheers to your evolution.